Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. Have you ever been involved in a work that's defied all the odds, overcome the obstacles and produced real life-changing outcomes? At Wesley Mission, we work with a broad cross-section of our community, working with the homeless, the young families, sole parents, seniors, the frail, and those with a disability. Now, at Wesley Mission, we also seek to bring together different aspects of our work, which we believe will enrich the lives of those we seek to serve. Some partnerships can seem quite obvious and natural when we partner our gardening service with perhaps one of our retirement villages. However, other partnerships within the life of Wesley Mission are not as obvious, but they do produce some rather extraordinary life-changing outcomes. Today, I'm going to be speaking with Jodie Hopkins from Frank Vickery Village and Michelle Rogers from Wesley Life Skills in Woolaware. We'll see how they've brought together a programme. They thought outside the box and partnered with each other, partnering with a disability, some of the more senior members of our community, to produce what I think are some great outcomes that not only improve the lives of those we work with, but also the staff who facilitate the work. Later in the programme, we're going to hear from Ida Maree, who will sing a marvellous song, You Are. Then I'm going to share some thoughts from John 13, where it becomes clear that Jesus was aware that his teaching and caring ministry was drawing to a conclusion. In that context, he gave his disciples a reminder of the incentive of love, which begins in him and must be shared with others. He also makes the point that this will be a sign of what it means to be a true disciple. Through our disability services, we work with a range of people, from those with varying degrees of physical disability to mild intellectual challenges to people who require full-time support. And there's never a simple and fixed formula to this area of work. It's not a case of one solution fits all scenarios. We often find ourselves needing to adapt our work and customise all that we do to empower and fit the needs of those we seek to serve. Let's take a look at an example of the work through Wesley Disability Services. This is Virginia's story.
My name is Virginia Samuela, but most people call me V. I'm 42 years of age. In 2007, at the age of 34, I came down with a massive migraine, just came out of nowhere like a clap of thunder. I was at work at the time. They rushed me to St Vincent's Hospital in the city and ended up being in hospital for a couple of days. They did a lumbar puncture and a CAT scan, and they said there was nothing wrong. So they sent me home with a script for Panadine Fort, and that was it. Went home, was in incredible pain for a few days. Ended up calling my dad, said, come pick me up, I need to go back to the hospital. He came, picked me up, we went back to the hospital, they admitted me straight away. And within a week I had my first stroke, and in 2 days later I had my second stroke. Everything changed overnight, everything, like my whole life. Like I went from being a very independent person to being a highly dependent person. I've now been basically told that I'll be in the wheelchair for the rest of my life. Without Wesley Mission and services such as Wesley Mission, I'd probably be in a nursing home. Like that was what the government had in store for me. That was where I was going to end up. And we fought, my family and myself and my case management fought tooth and nail to keep me out of a nursing home. So we need places like, you know, Wesley Mission and Disability Services. We need them to help people not end up in those situations. I've been one of the lucky ones, but there's not many lucky people out there. There are people that do end up in nursing homes. I hear it all the time and it breaks my heart. My case manager had put me onto a waiting list for the YIPRAC, and YIPRAC is a young people in residential aged care, and that was one of the services that came under Wesley Mission. It's basically like a nursing home but for younger people, like up to the age of 55. It's a government's alternative to young people living in a nursing home basically. The best thing about Wesley Disability Services are the people who have done a lot for me in terms of not just being there for me to support me, but even just sometimes moral support, or when you're sad, they're there for you as well. Having Wesley Mission there to help support me in my life, and that's been crucial. And I wouldn't have been, like I said, I wouldn't be here where I am today without them having been there to support me all this time. Wesley Disability Services helped me by providing that foundation, that place to live, and that stability to be able to grow and learn and expand on my own skills. The future now is all about new life, new beginnings. With such a big change, just recently with moving into our new home, having that new life with my mother-in-law and my husband, being able to finally sleep in the same bed again, finally being able to share our lives with one another. It's been the first time that we've been able to do that since we were together almost 20 years ago. It's challenging, but it's fun to be able to work those out and basically move things at our own pace and make our own rules at our own pace and live our own lives without having, other constraints from living in supported accommodation, which is good for it had its purpose, but now our purpose now is to live our life as we choose to live it.
Wesley Dove's Ladies Fundraising Luncheon is now in its third year. Table sponsors and other donors meet over a first-class lunch held at the Tea Room, Queen Victoria Building on Tuesday the 3rd of May. All funds raised go towards Wesley Mission's Disability Services. Wesley Doves is a great opportunity to showcase your organisation's corporate social responsibility. For more information, call 02 9263 5555 or visit wesleymission.org.au.
And if you'll be in the area of Sydney in May, do join us for Wesley Doves. Seats are limited, so do contact us early to obtain your own ticket. It's downtown Sydney at the Tea Room, and it's always a wonderful afternoon. Of course, my wife Carol will be there. We have a keynote speaker, and it's a unique opportunity for women to get together for a special afternoon to raise funds to help our work with people who have a disability and how we can empower them. Now, continuing on the theme of disability services, I have two people with me, Jodie Hopkins from Frank Vickery Village and Michelle Rogers from our Wesley Life Skills Centre in Woolooware in Sydney South. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Look, tell us a little bit about what you do, the work that you represent. Really, Jodie, a bit about Frank Vickery Village?
So Frank Vickery Village is a retirement village, and we're located in the Sutherland Shire in the suburb of Sylvania. We sit on 15 acres of land, and we opened in 1948 with 8 cottages. We now have 203 units and 234 residents living with us.
That's great. And a bit about the work that you do.
At Woolooware, I have 18 clients at the moment who have a varying range of disabilities. 12 are in wheelchairs, 12 are non-verbal. They range from cerebral palsy to autism to Down syndrome to acquired brain injury. It's quite a high need centre, so most are relying on staff for some help.
So we want to know what you're doing together. So tell us a bit about how this idea to work together came about.
Well, it was a bit of it was a trip into town on the train, to be honest, but I had been thinking about it for a while because I really love the job that I'm doing. And at the end of every day, when I walk through my centre and my clients smile at me as I go through, the feeling that gives me, I wanted to actually have them experience that feeling. And I thought, perhaps there's something we can do. I am helping them every day. Perhaps there's something they can do to help others.
And between the two of you, you dreamt up the idea of kind of doing something.
Absolutely. For me, one of the needs that I have at my centre is that as people get older, they tend to become socially isolated. So at the same time, I was thinking, well, how can I meet that need? So when we're on the train together, we put our heads together and came up with this joined-up idea.
So what is it that happens?
Well, what's happened is quite extraordinary because we come together now once a month. We have a 12-month seasonal program. We have several clients from Woolooware Life Skills that are involved, and we have quite a few residents from the village who meet up to form friendships, share life experience, work on projects together, and it's actually given my clients quite a good deal of confidence in dealing with the community at a wider angle than what they would normally do.
And lots of your residents would have known that we do work in the disability sector, as it were, but they wouldn't have ever experienced it, would they?
No, that's right. And I think that's another gain that we've had, is that it's opened their eyes to the broad spectrum of things that Wesley do. So it's not so much reading about the services from the annual report, or it's actually going to these places and seeing. So in lots of ways they've been taken out of their comfort zone, but they've thrived in the process.
So tell us about the projects. What are the projects?
Well, at the moment we're working on our summer project, which will be a mural to be worked on by both the residents and the clients at Wollaware and staff, and we're calling it The Passion. So it is something that each client and resident and staff member are extremely passionate about. So we actually thought about doing handprints and footprints, and we thought that's a bit preschool. We're both dealing with adults. So Jodie's idea was to go that one step further and think about what our clients enjoy the most, what their passion is. So we've taken small photos of each client that will be at the centre of their passion. One of my clients, for example, loves a cup of coffee. She likes considerable cups of coffee over the course of her day. So her passion, of course, will be coffee or a coffee cup or something to do with that.
She's definitely a Sydney-sider, isn't she?
Yes, absolutely.
And so will you do something similar at
That's
Vickery?
right. So there'll be 2 murals that we'll create. One will sit in the dining room at the village, and the other one will sit in Michelle's centre in her foyer, and it'll be made up of all different types of it could be things being glued to the mural, it could be glitter, it could be whatever that person wants to do. Quite eclectic, not necessarily beautiful and pretty, but representing both the groups.
We've talked about joined up thinking and practice and wanting to put into practice the fact that people work together and can cross-work. Just a sentence or two, what do you think people have really gained out of this?
I think my clients have gained quite a sense of confidence. Clients with a disability tend not to interact with each other. It's a strange phenomenon that I've seen myself on countless occasions. They will interact with staff, but they don't often interact with each other.
And this has helped them to do that.
So this has helped them to do that because they're forming solid friendships with people that are older, that are not within their centre, which is then helping them gain the confidence to extend that further out into the community.
And for your people?
It's brought people out of their units. If not to be involved, to be a witness to that. Some people might have sat in the background and been a little bit curious about it. It's dealt with that social isolation, and also it's given people confidence.
And you two are obviously excited about it, and we're delighted it's happening, and we hope it's going to be the start of something bigger beyond those villages. Jodie and Michelle, thank you very much for joining us on Wesley Impact. It's very interesting to see 2 of our key managers thinking outside the box, being innovative and finding unique ways to improve the lives of those we seek to serve. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to now welcome Ida Maree to sing the inspirational song, You Are.
Streets feel bare, the chaos everywhere, so much delusion all around. Striving to make it through the day, some blinded by the fame, the word upon their shoulders. So many voices in her head, a fight that never ends, trapped in the darkness of her mind, can't seem to find the light, feels colorless and cold. Does anybody care? She's lost her way back home.
Over the years of Wesley Impact, Keith Garner has had hundreds of conversations sharing stories of hope, resilience, love and the Christian faith. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is a collection of inspiring and insightful conversations with people who are leaders in their field, including the New South Wales Police Commissioner Andrew Scipione, CEO of Lifeline Australia John Brogden, the inventor of the cochlear ear implant Professor Graham Clark, founder of Shed Happens Ian Watto Watson, respected Australian journalist Lee Hatcher, and the former Chief Inspector of the New South Wales Police Gary Raymond. Each conversation shares a unique perspective on leadership and the achievements of notable community leaders, and collectively presents a broad cross-section of leadership styles that have brought positive social change. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is the first instalment of a 3-part series and is available now from Wesley Mission. To find out more, contact Wesley Mission on 02 9263 5555 or email impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
John 13 is a pivotal chapter in the Gospel as Jesus begins the long farewell from his intimate bands of friends, really from chapter 14 through to 17. And as always, timing is important. We read in the very first verse of chapter 13, it was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come to him to leave this world. Timing is so important. The chapter contains the washing of the disciples' feet, a marvellous picture uniquely in John's Gospel. And it tells of Jesus telling of the betrayal that would soon happen, as well as speaking about Peter's denial, those painful aspects, betrayal and denial. Let me read to you now from later on in that chapter these words, John 13, 31 to 35. When he was gone, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will glorify the Son in himself and will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now, where I am going, you cannot come. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Once again, we're mindful of the beginning to the close of Jesus' formal ministry. And Jesus gives a new instruction, what has often been called a new commandment. And the words, "my children." Now, these are not strange because these are words that he used in 1 John to identify his beleaguered community of disciples. This commandment is a very powerful one. It's one really that instructs Christians in this and every age to know what it is to follow him. The command to love begins in Jesus and is for all who follow. A commandment that's very real. It's a commandment that needs a response to it. It's a commandment that somehow encapsulates the meaning of the gospel. And it's also an indication of what it means to display the Christian faith. Verses 34 and 35 say it all. "A new commandment I give you, love one another. As I've loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know." It becomes the mark of our mission to the world. You see, this is the way people will know we are really followers of Jesus. This is the way people will know that we are truly, in the deepest sense, disciples of Jesus. Not because we carry some kind of badge around, not because everybody says, hey, this is something important because they belong to a certain school or teaching, but because love is shown. Love to one another and love to all the world. And that has always been the mark of Christian people. By this you shall know that they're my disciples, by the love that they show for one another. And I believe that that is not only a word that Jesus shared with his disciples at one point in time as he was about to face the events that would lead eventually to the cross. It is the indication of what it means to follow him. So it is a love that is before the cross, and it's a love after the resurrection to be seen in our lives. It's the sign by which we'll be known. It's the sign by which we will be identified in a very real sense. There needs to be a love within us that is powerful, that is expressive, that is demonstrated. Of course, the disciples, it's interesting it comes, doesn't it, after that passage that's told us about the one that would betray him, the one who would deny him. Interesting that it's placed there. I'm sure John, when he was putting together the words of Jesus, would be conscious of the relationship between those who let him down and those that must now pick up that call of discipleship. I wonder what that commandment means for you. I wonder what it means for me, to be able to love each other. Perhaps it means crossing boundaries, as we heard in the interview a little earlier in the show. Perhaps it means reaching out and doing things that we never thought would be achieved or possible because there is something empowered within us. It's a commandment, but it's a commandment that's been given to us. So it's as important as anything to recognize that what Jesus asks us to do has been shown in his life. Together, we want to be disciples who not only carry the name of Jesus, but show the name and the works of Jesus by the way we live our lives day by day. That's the way that people will know that we are truly disciples in our mission into all the world. It is the sign by which we will be known.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also connect to Keith's blog and stay up to date on all of the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have your company. I hope you've enjoyed that conversation with Jodie and Michelle, two of our people exercising their Christian work in the life of Wesley Mission in very, very different areas, and also showing how important it is to cross the boundaries, to be able to work in different areas, and the importance of loving one another as a sign of our discipleship. That commandment that Jesus gave to the disciples is ours to follow through on today. If you want to know anything more about any area of our work at Wesley Mission, I'm going to ask you and direct you to go to our website, wesleymission.org.au. If you'd like to contact me directly, send me an email at impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. It's always a delight to hear from people, to answer any questions you might have, and to receive feedback on our programme. I hope you're going to find the time to join us again at the same time next week. We have regular viewers, we have new viewers, for another episode of Wesley Impact. So thank you very much for sharing with us, and may God bless you in all that the coming week has to offer to you.
Wesley Mission provides disability respite to more than 160 families each year. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.